Are you a fan of Alejandro Jodorowsky? You know, the guy that was going to do the Dune. He did El Topo. He did Fando and many other crazy surrealistic films from back in the day. Well, he was the protege of Fernando Arrabal, who I have his first film from Radiance, and we're going to talk about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review and an unboxing of Radiance Films' Viva La Muerte, which means long live death. Man, is this an interesting, crazy film that I got to watch. It is a film that I have never heard of. And, you know, I seem to learn a lot from a lot of Radiance films because they do dig deep into some films that I've never heard of, and I get a chance to check them out, and they do a fantastic job. Not only does this print look good, but the film is pretty wild and pretty unforgettable. But I'm going to tell you everything I think about this movie and then get into the extras, all the like features and all the things that are included on the inside here so that you can get an idea of whether or not you'd like to pick this up for yourself. It is already out. I'm a little behind on that, but if you want to pick it up, I'll put links down below. So let's get into it. So yeah, Viva La Muerte is not a movie that I've ever seen before, but it is a movie that I will never soon forget. It's a movie that is essentially an autobiography of Fernando Arrabal. And Arrabal was so influential because of this specific movie that Alejandro Jodorowsky wanted to become like a protege underneath him and wanted to study underneath him to write and make films and things like this because he was just so moved by it. In fact, Alejandro Jodorowsky's first film was called Fando. This movie, Long Live Death, aka Viva La Muerte, is a movie about this kid named Fando, okay? And in the movie, he meets a girl named Liz. So Fando means Fando and Liz, or Liz. They meet up in the movie, and this is a continuation of that story. So Alejandro Jodorowsky was definitely a big fan of that. Now, if you're not into surrealistic films or art house films, this might not be for you, but this is a very ballsy film. This is some dark stuff from the 70s that, you know, you probably aren't going to see in any kind of movies today. This is from 1971, and it is very much like an autobiography of Fernando Arrabal's life. He had to escape Spain and go to France because he was fighting fascism and, of course, Christianity, which both of those things were really impactful on his life in a very negative way. And he saw through the lines on that and decided to make a film about it. And it is a very strong, on-the-nose metaphorical film. So it's not trying to hide the metaphors that you need to figure out, although you could definitely pick out a few things in the visuals in this movie because it is so surrealistic. But he's telling this story through the eyes of a child named Fando, who at the end of the Spanish War, where they're kind of like gathering up all the communists and, you know, basically dispatching of them, his father falls victim to that, and it might be because his own mother turned his father in. And Fando is sort of dealing with the perplexities of an adult life in and through the eyes of a child. And so when these dark, messed up things in his life happen, he has these moments where he dreams about these things, and they are very surrealistic. There's a different color associated with the dream, and there is some messaging in there that is really extreme sometimes and really kind of weird. There's also some weird innuendo going on with his mother and him. He is a growing child that is going through very adult motions that no child should have to be put through. And so therefore, there are some things that cross over from child to adult that Fando is experiencing. It is a little slow. It's like a slow burn. But by the end of the movie, this movie packs a fucking punch that you will never forget. It does have some animal stuff in it. Not a fan of that, but probably would upset a few people. I definitely had to turn away by the end of the movie. Man, holy shit. I can't even believe the actress did what they did, but they were very committed to this role. It's a very dark, bleak world that Arabal is telling. And he, because of this, started the entire panic movement, which was a movement about, you know, like some darker kind of painting of the world. And he and a few others like Roland Topor, Alejandro Jodorowsky was part of that, decided to make, you know, extra films and write books. And so the three of them all work together. Now, if you've never heard of Roland Topor, he's the guy that actually went on to do the artwork in the movie called Fantastic Planet, which is a 73 film that is pretty popular that you might see. Criterion has actually put out a release of it. He also was a novelist, you know, and he did write a book that Roman Polanski made a movie out of called The Tenant, which is very popular for doing some very suspenseful stuff in. If you've never seen it, obviously Roman Polanski has his own controversies. I'm not getting into that. He also was an actor too. So Robert Topor seems like a very interesting guy to learn about too. And I'm just kind of figuring out about him as well. He actually played Renfield in Werner Herzog's Nosferatu film. I thought that was really cool too. So there's just a wealth of talent in here. In fact, some of the artwork that you see in this movie and that is in the case that I can't show you because there's nudity on it is actually from Roland Topor. So they were all connected in this big artistic, surrealistic world that they worked together on. And it's a pretty interesting story. But yeah, I don't know what to score this film, you know? It is definitely a ballsy film, a film that is definitely trying to send a message about fascism and religion, specifically about Christianity and sort of the hypocrisy behind it, anger he had as a child about it. Like I said, a lot of people feel like this is an autobiography of him, and it would make sense because he did escape Spain because of these things and went to France. So, but yeah, if you like history and you like surrealistic art, this might be for you. I mean, obviously, I think it's a good film. It's definitely well made. It's definitely impactful. It definitely has some very uncomfortable moments in the film. Definitely some pioneering like cinema in the surrealistic art house way. This is some pretty intense stuff in here that happens. There's some things that this kid does in the movie that I would never want a child to do in a film. And they do it, you know, doesn't go that far. It's interesting to kind of learn about these things. I think Radiance does a really good job of presenting it. It was from the original negative, and they did that in 4K and then downgraded it to 1080p. So who knows? Maybe in the future we'll see a 4K of this. But now we're going to get into sort of the extras, the features, and everything that is involved in this. So I'm going to go over that with you now, and then, you know, put some links down below if you want to pick it up. But let's get into it. First up, the release is definitely very cool. There is some things that I cannot show you in here that I have to blur out, but it is, you know, an adult film after all. But, you know, as always, Radiance Films puts this little slip in here, just like their style. You also get a reversible sleeve on this one, which is, you know, kind of like that one as well. But the front is the original picture essentially of this movie, and it is a harrowing moment in the film that a lot of people really like. Now, you do get a booklet with this. I can't show you the front of this, but I got some B-roll that I kind of blurred out. Some of the contents of this is The Future of Cinema Belongs to Poets, which is an interview with Fernando Arrabal from 1976. And it's by Peter Brunette and Gerald Perry. There's also a surreal and violent, unique construction of Fernando Arrabal's Panic Theater, which kind of goes into a lot more. And that's current. That's actually from 2024 by Sabina Stent. I didn't get to read that one, though, but I didn't realize it was from 2024. So it'd be interesting to see. And then we get a little bit on the transfer notes and how they handled this transfer, which, by the way, was scanned camera negative, the 35mm French sound negative, and the 35mm interpositive, which includes the end credits, which were missing from the original negative. An interesting booklet that you can look through. It's got some of Roland Topar's artwork on it. We also get the original disc on here that just says Viva La Muerte, Long Live Death. And we do get some extra features on here that you can check out. There is from the booth, there is from the projection booth podcast, which they sit down and they talk about it while the movie's playing. So it's like a tacked on sort of sound that you can listen to while watching the movie. It's about an hour long, so it's not as long as the movie, but they're very informative, and they talk about, you know, some of them have their first experience watching this, others it's not. But they talk about a lot of the film and where it came from. There is a short documentary by Abdelatif Ben Ammar capturing Arabelle at work on Viva La Muerte. There is Vidorable, which is a feature-length documentary on Arabelle by Xavier Pasturel. Baron, featuring interviews with admirers, friends, and family. There's a new interview with the scholar and Spanish cinema expert David Archibald. New trailer, new image gallery. That's everything that is involved in this release. If you're a fan of this, I can see that they put a lot of effort into this, and you have a lot of material to kind of learn about the history in this, which I loved dipping into. So thank you, MVD Entertainment and Radiance Films. Something to know, if you are a fan of this movie or want to pick it up, there is only 3,000 copies that they will be giving out. So if you like this one, I'll put a link down below for you. Thank you guys so much for coming by. I really appreciate the support on some of these like more unknown kind of films, because it really means a lot to me that you take interest in those kind of things and support it, because you never know what you're gonna find. And my whole theory is digging and digging and digging until you find things that either I will like or you guys will like. Every single movie I watch and every little bit of research I do adds to the greater pile of my reviewing. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about this movie in the comment section down below. Have you seen it? Are you a fan? Do you know about the panic movement? Who is your favorite of the 3 artists out of the 3? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and thank you for coming by. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and also that little bell notification to let you know when I got a brand new film coming out, or review or interview. But thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.